and welcome everyone to our Monday chair yoga. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this practice with you. And today I am doing our class theme on yoga for a healthy body. So I'm doing this same class in my class that I teach here locally, and because we only meet once a month, I took pieces of each class and brought it all together in this class, because at home I'm doing feet and ankles, I'm doing knees, I'm working right up the whole body. But I wanted to bring little pieces of each for each part of our body, so that if there was something that resonates with you that you can bring back to your everyday life or practice, if you practice at home, then this would be available for you. So let's get started by just coming to center. And if you'd like to press your feet into the ground, and you can either gaze down at the floor or close your eyes. And I have you bring your hands together and grip your hands like this and bring them to your heart center, and you can put a light pressure. And this small energy exercise helps us balance the right and left side of our brain to help bring us to harmony as we begin this practice. We'll also bring balance to our breath by taking a breath in and releasing. Inhaling and releasing. And now your next breath, let it rise up from your belly, taking a full inhale. You can release with a soft sigh. Full deep belly breath, inhaling, and release with a sigh. One more full breath, inhaling, and slowly releasing with a sigh. And then you can release the press, bringing your hands to heart center, maybe touching your thumbs right at your heart. And for those that just joined, I'd like to set an intention for today's practice. Understand that there was an earthquake in Southern California, and setting an intention for anyone who may have been affected by this earthquake, sending positive energy their way. And releasing. We'll just come back to mountain pose. And we'll begin, as I said, our yoga practice for our whole body. So we'll begin by taking care of our neck. So very slowly on an inhale, turning your head over to the left. And as you exhale, moving all the way to the right. We'll inhale through center to the left. Exhale through center to the right. And just take a few more back and forth, slow. Giving our neck a little love. Next time you come through center, come right to center, and we'll come into some more neck release here. So on an inhale, dropping your chin to your chest. And on an exhale, looking up to maybe the seam in your ceiling. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, gazing upward. And take a few more here with your breath on your own. I don't like to drop our heads all the way back, because actually our heads are quite heavy. And just bringing it to where you can see the ceiling, gives it that stretch that it needs. And the next time you come back to center, just again come to neutral. Well, some love for our hands, we'll just bring our hands out and forward. And if you want to bring your thumbs under your other fingers, we can just start with some wrist circles here. So wrists and hands, especially since we're on devices all day in the opposite way, it's kind of good to stretch them out. And release, and then you can take your right hand and lightly bend back your fingers. So that gets your fingers and your wrist. And then bend the other way and bend. And you can shake that one out. And we'll come to the opposite hand, so bending those back. So be gentle. I have arthritis in a couple fingers, so you don't want to pull too far back if you have any arthritis. And then the opposite direction. You can shake that out, shake out both hands and wrists. And then we'll come to our shoulders. So bringing your hands to your shoulders. Start with some circles forward. So you're also getting here a little bit of your upper back, elbows, opposite direction. And you can go wider, so you start to bring in the whole front of your chest. Remembering to breathe, so part of our whole practice is breath with movement. And then release. And we'll do just a couple more for our shoulder. So on an inhale, bring your left shoulder up to your ear. And release. Right shoulder up to your ear. And release. Both shoulders up, back, and around. Left shoulder up to your ear. Release. Right shoulder up to your ear. Release. Now bringing your shoulders forward. And then we'll just do a couple circles back. And a couple shoulders forward. And then let yourself just come to quiet. I'm just going to put a couple people on mute just because we're getting a little background noise here. Even after I told you all to come off mute. And I'll move back here as we come into our practice. So coming into mountain pose, pressing feet into earth. Once again, we'll take that inhale, sweeping up to the sky, reaching. Turning your fingers and palms down, releasing with hands at heart center. Inhale, sweeping all the way up. Exhale, palms down, coming to heart center. Inhale, reaching up, releasing your right arm down, and then beginning to arch over. So what we really want to do here is feel the stretch all the way up our side. But we're also bringing some lateral flexion into our spine. Then coming back through center, releasing your left arm and reaching over, breathing. Coming back through center, interlacing your fingertips, pressing up to the sky. And then slowly letting your hands float down and coming to heart center. We'll come into cat-cow, which is one of those poses that, and I've probably said it to you, and I know my local class hears it all the time. It's one of the best moves you can do, not only for really getting your spine muscles, everything moving, but also for helping with strengthening your core. So we're going to do a few, and then we'll come into lion's breath, and hopefully you'll have a little fun with it if we haven't done it before, and no one can see you and I won't look. But let's start out with a few cat-cows here. So on an inhale, chest is forward like a string is pulling you up. And then as you exhale, curling into a cat. Inhale, opening up through heart center. And as you exhale, curling in, feel the back muscles starting to get involved in this movement. Inhale, opening. And exhale, curling. And then come back to neutral, and we'll do 3 more rounds, but with lion's breath. So we'll go from cat to cow, opposite of what we just did. So lion's breath is another way to move energy throughout your body. And like I said, most people feel uncomfortable doing it, but nobody's looking. So what it is when we come back into our cow pose, you release your tongue out of your mouth and roar like a lion, and it looks like this. Not a great lion, but it's just releasing energy. So everyone's on mute. I won't look. Let's just do this. So on an inhale, curl into your cat. And as you exhale, tongue out, roar like a lion. Inhale, curl like a cat. Exhale, lion's breath. Inhale, curl like a cat. Exhale, laugh loud, lion's breath. And then come back to mountain pose. And just let your mind quickly scan through, see if you feel any energy, any tingling, any release. And then if you have a strap, does everyone have a strap? Does anyone not have a strap? Okay, perfect. So we're gonna, again, work on our feet, ankles, and legs, because our legs, everything's connected. So if your feet and ankles are having injuries, or many of us have neuropathy, it just impacts all the way up our bodies. So we'll do some of these exercises, yoga poses, to really give some movement to our feet and ankles, and also our legs, and finally our hips. So I'm going to wrap the strap around my foot, just at the ball of the foot, and let it extend out in front. If you do not have a strap, you can just hold your leg out. We won't hold it there too long. And then what we're going to do is bend our knee in and straighten. Bending your knee in and straighten. One more, bending your knee in and straighten. And as you straighten, let your toes come towards your face. So you should be feeling that in your calves and your feet. And then bring the strap into your left hand. You're going to open up as far as reasonable for you to the side. And this is actually called big toe pose. We do this pose seated in a chair. We do it laying on the floor. We do it standing. If that's too intense for you, bend your knee a little. And then bringing it back to center, you can release the strap. Just let your leg take a couple little bounces here. And then bringing your leg out straight, we're just going to do some points and flexes. You can keep your heel on the floor, or you can raise your leg. Just a few. And then again, that nice stretch in our ankle area. And release. And we'll bring the strap over to the opposite side. This is a great one if you have tight calves or hamstrings to do as well. So we'll bring that leg up, bend the knee, and release. Bend the knee and release. One more, bend the knee, release, bringing the toes pointing towards you so you get that good stretch. I'm bringing the straps into your right hand and opening towards the right. So we're all going to be in different places here. Some people, you may need it closer to the ground. As I said, some of us bending our knee, it doesn't matter. You find what you need. Remembering to breathe as you bring that leg back, release the strap, take a couple of bounces here, and then we'll point and flex, point and flex, breathing. And release. And again, just let your feet tap out. They tap out your thighs. And coming to neutral. So we'll come into gate pose, Parangasana. And I'll show you the pose. And if you want to use a block on your front foot, I'll show that. And then you can also not use a block, but we'll start by bringing our right foot up on the block or flat on the floor. You're bringing your left leg out. I'm going to move more towards the seat. So you can stay right here. This is one version of Parangasana, also known as gate pose. You can also drop that left arm down, extending your right arm up and stay here, or you can arch all the way over. So a couple ways to do this pose. You'll see we've done a lot of this side stretching, but you're also bringing in your hips, your legs, your knees, and just breathe. Your gaze can be forward or down at your foot, or some people like to look up under their arm. Inhaling and exhaling. You can release, letting your left arm come up, hands coming to heart center, releasing your left leg, And we'll come to the opposite side. So I'll show it without the block this time. Sometimes the block on a chair makes you feel a little more stable. So again, do what feels right for you. We'll bring that right leg over. And your toes can be up or your foot down. It's just a matter of preference here. Right arm can go down. Left arm can go up. You can stay here or you can arch all the way over. Breathing. Gaze can be up. Feeling the stretch, the opening of your whole body. Yoga for your whole body today. Sweeping all the way back up. Hands to heart center. Releasing gate. And we'll come into a couple circles. So you can see that that was a nice stretch for your hips. But sometimes we like to have a little counter pose going in the opposite direction. And coming back to neutral, back to mountain pose. And just take a moment here, a mountain pose, feet planted onto the earth. And if you'd like to turn your palms forward, your arms release down. Feet planted on the earth, heart is open. Gaze is forward. We'll sweep our arms all the way up, coming into a sun salutation and releasing as you fold forward. So your folding forward could be hands at thighs, hands down to the floor. Turning your palms up, you come all the way back up to center with hands at heart center. Inhale, sweeping back up to the sky. Exhale, hands coming to your thighs. Opening your heart, coming into seated chair. Exhale, releasing into your forward fold. Sweeping all the way back up. Hands to Anjali Mudra, heart center. One more sun salutation. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, hands to thighs as you come into chair pose. Utkatasana is the Sanskrit name. Exhale, folding forward. And then sweeping all the way back up with hands at heart center. So we'll come into chair pose and I will show us, we can do it seated or standing. So for those that want to do it seated, hands on your thighs, that string opening up, feet pressed into the earth, really press them in. And then slowly release. For anyone that wants to stand, I'll turn sideways. Hands at heart center, just like you're sitting in a chair. And you can stay here or release your hands forward. Shoulders nice and released down your back. Breathing. Wonderful pose to build strength in our knees and ankles. Bringing your hands to heart center and either standing or sitting back up straight. I'll show us coming into a twist for seated on the one side. So inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, hands to your thighs if you're seated. Opening. Hands to heart center as you twist over to the left. You can stay here or bring your right arm down to your thigh and extend your left arm up. Gently releasing, coming back to heart center. Twisting over to the right, either staying here or left arm can go down, right arm extend it. Slowly unwinding, coming back to heart center. We'll come through chair pose again because it's such a wonderful pose for so many parts, especially when we come into the twist. So if you're doing it seated, you can stay seated. If you're going to stand, we'll come up to standing. And I'll turn sideways again. I think it helps a little to see sideways. So we'll inhale, sweeping up. Exhale as hands come to heart center. Come into your chair pose, Utkatasana. I'll turn. Inhale, twisting over to the left. And you can stay here or drop that hand down and reach the other arm up. Breathing. Inhaling, hands together and back to heart center. And if you're standing, take a little moment to come back up to standing. And we'll inhale, exhale, back into chair pose. Twisting over to the right. Releasing the hand, extending the hand if you're coming into that version. And slowly unwinding, hands to heart center, either sitting up straight, standing up straight. Softening your eyes. Take a deep inhale. Exhale with a sigh. Inhale. And exhale. And release. And we'll come into little flow with warrior. I'll do one side seated and the other side standing. So we'll begin in warrior two pose. Again, if that block helps you be a little bit more stable, then put your leg on the block. Bring your left leg out. If you want the full seated version, the right leg can go back. Left leg out with knee bend. Extending your arms. Really reaching. Now we're bringing in our feet, our knees, our hips, our arms. And we're breathing, bringing prana right into our whole body. Then dropping that right arm, palm up on your left. We're going to sweep back into reverse warrior. Feeling that stretch. Inhaling and exhaling, bringing your left forearm to your left thigh. Right arm can either go up straight, and arch it over your head, or you can put it behind your back and open up through your whole chest. Stretching and breathing. Slowly releasing, coming back into that peaceful warrior. Warrior two. Hands to heart center as you turn forward towards me. And we'll come into goddess here, So you can do that either seated or standing. In goddess pose, your toes are turned out, your knees are open, and your arms are like goal posts with shoulder blades together. If you want to stand, it looks like this. And here we are, opening our hearts. This can be God or goddess. Working our backs, strengthening our legs, every part of your whole leg, hips. And we breathe, inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. If you're standing or seated, straighten your legs. And I'll stand for warrior two on this side. So you're going to turn your right toes out and bend that knee. If you're standing, your back leg, think of a clock. Your foot is turned maybe towards 4 o'clock. If you're seated, you're either using a block or you're extended. And then we extend our arms, reaching from fingertip to fingertip. That left knee, right knee is pressing back. On an inhale, dropping your left hand. Right palm goes up as you sweep up into reverse warrior. Gaze can be down at the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Left forearm comes to left thigh. Arm goes up. Behind your back, over your ear. Breathing. And inhale, sweeping back up to peaceful warrior. Releasing into warrior two. Bringing hands to heart center. Turning towards me. And seated or standing, toes are out. You can come down to goddess pose with hands at heart center. And twist over to the left. Back to center. Twist over to the right. Back to center. Straightening your legs. Lifting your arms up as far as comfortable for you into 5-pointed star. Slowly releasing hands down. Turning your feet forward. And either stepping back into mountain if you're standing. Coming back into mountain seated. We can open our palms again. Heart is open, feet pressed into the earth. And then bringing hands back to heart center. And coming back to your chair. Taking an inhale. And an exhale. Inhale. Exhale and release. We're going to come into boat pose. The Sanskrit name for that is Narambasana. And boat pose is a great pose for building up strength in your core. And your core really goes from, the top of your legs all the way up. And I'll show a couple of versions of it. And you can see which one works for you. I'm going to turn to the side though, because I think it'll be easier for you to see. So one of our first versions is coming to the edge of your chair. You want yourself to come back and engaging. So if someone says engaging your core, what we're really talking about is just imagining everything coming inward and then bringing your navel to your spine and just holding there. You're not holding your breath, you're just lightly holding your navel, moving towards your spine. So we're back like this. And you just come up on your tiptoes. So this might be good for you if you really imagine all the cues that I just mentioned and bring your hand to your belly. You can probably feel that its muscles are tightening. So this could be the perfect one to get started. And then we'll release by coming forward. Second version is coming into that same posture as we started, coming up on our toes, making sure your core is engaged. And we'll extend our right leg out. So your knee can be bent or your leg can come straight. And release. Taking an inhale, extending your left leg. And release. Let's everyone come back up to seated. Take an inhale or exhale. So you can do any one of those two versions. Or we'll come into a third version. Inhale, exhale. I like to start with my hands at heart center as I float my back. And then bringing up both legs. So your core is tight. Hands at heart center. You can stay here or you can extend your arms out straight. So I always say to everyone, release when you're ready, because everybody can hold something at a different rate. And come back into mountain. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll come into that one more time with whatever version feels right for you today. Inhale. Bringing my hands to heart center as I float back. Extending legs one at a time. Staying on your toes. Or extending both legs. We'll take a breath here as we inhale. Exhale, releasing all the way back up to seated. And coming back to neutral. Sweep our arms up to the sky. Taking a twist over to the left, which should feel nice on your back. Sweeping up through center. Coming over to the right. Back through center. And slowly folding forward, whatever that is for you. Might be right here or a full forward fold. Pressing back up to seated. Bringing your left leg up for a nice hug. Releasing. Right leg up, hugging. And releasing. Softening your eyes, taking a few breaths in and out. And then preparing for Shavasana relaxation pose. So if you have a blanket, if you're using a chair, you can fold that blanket and make a nice little pillow. If your feet don't touch the floor, you can have them on blocks. But find that place that's comfortable for you so you can relax and release. And for anybody that wants to come down to the floor, just coming down to the floor, finding your Shavasana. Might want to bolster under your legs, or sometimes bending your knees. Palms can be up towards the sky, resting on your belly. Taking a full inhale and exhale, letting yourself melt into Mother Earth. As we continue to rest in Shavasana, quote is from an unknown. Yoga reminds us that healing and growth often happen in the spaces between the breaths and the moments between the poses. In stillness, we find our true self. So gently releasing from relaxation, moving your fingers and your toes. And letting your breath bring awareness to the room around you. Awareness to any sounds, light, any sensations that bring you back to this present moment. And as we close this practice, take a full inhale and exhale. If you'd like to bring your hands to heart center. Peace, peace, peace. May you have peace in your heart. May all beings have peace. Special peace to our friends in California. And may we share that peace with this community, with this Sangha. Thank you and namaste.